Hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. This one is a special episode today because I'm drinking a coffee for, I think, the first time on the podcast. We're doing it slightly earlier today.
You've drank a coffee on the podcast before. We've done early ones.
I normally manage to have my coffee before, and I would never have 2 coffees in a day because I'd get too anxious and I'd shit myself.
It's 11 a.m. It's 11:30.
I got up late.
What time?
11. No, I got up at like 10:40.
I'm fair.
Yes, and lucky this isn't before my morning coffee.
Because you don't want to see you.
You don't want to see me before my coffee.
I've seen you with your morning before your morning coffee a few times.
Yeah, I've got a couple of new T-shirts in. Feed me coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee
you
Monster.
haven't been on the novelty T-shirts for a while, actually.
Coffee Monster.
When would you say your novelty T-shirt craze was? Because everyone knows that the only present you've ever given me was a novelty T-shirt.
What was it again?
Saying "Man flu is real."
That was from Plain Lazy.
It was, yeah.
Well, you could maybe, you could look at it as saying that I like novelty T-shirts, or you could say it's me supporting local businesses.
Right.
I think
There's plenty of other local businesses you could support, and you seem to support a lot of novelty T-shirt local businesses.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think Lewis had produced many other clothing brands apart from the short-lived Plain Lazy, which...
Did they have their own shop? Or
they had their own shop. Well, it was the flagship store was in Lewis. I don't know.
Was more.
I don't know if it franchised, to be honest.
There's always a market for that.
Well, it wasn't a novelty T-shirt store, as in it had an array of novelty T-shirts. It had novelty T-shirts within the one topic, which was...
Man flu.
Laziness. Being like a lazy boy.
Yeah.
Plain lazy. So they sold sleeping bags. They sold like bean bags.
That's a mental shop.
It's crazy. I can't believe
so they
it.
sold the facilitation of laziness.
It was kind of like that was the shtick they were going for.
They sold sleeping bags.
Yeah, and then the logo.
It's just if you don't fancy it.
The logo was like a stick figure in bed. Plain lazy.
That's mental. Because for someone to go into the shop, they'd kind of have to admit that they are lazy.
But it's more... I think,
no, because why else would you go... Like, why would you know that store sold sleeping bags? If it's hanging novelty T-shirts in the window, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going camping soon. I'll go to the Plain Lazy store.
No, but I think it's not... Sleeping bags isn't going to be their main thing.
Right, but they sell them.
It's just...
What's the main thing?
It's around... It's sort of variations on a theme.
Of laziness.
Laziness.
I know, but so they could sell
the
like...
main thing was probably they're a clothing brand.
Right.
I think it was very much of the time. What was that, like 2012, would you say? 2011?
2012.
Yeah, so it was that kind of 2010s thing where I think culturally we're going through a bit of a spasm.
Yeah.
And I think it was sort of for people of my age. And it worked for me. Hey, I got hooked in because I was like, I'm 12 years old and I like sleeping in bed.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I bloody like lying in.
Yeah.
So,
I wish there was a shop for me.
It's literally one step down below a novelty coffee clothing brand.
A novelty coffee clothing brand.
Yeah, like, don't speak to me before my coffee T-shirts.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well,
But
there's
it's on the warpath.
You'll always see novelty T-shirts. You'll always see T-shirts with...
You'll always see.
You'll always see
Dude,
them.
that's one of the inevitables.
I think it's one of the inevitabilities of humanity.
What, death, taxes, and novelty T-shirts.
Exactly, no matter how far we progress evolutionarily.
Yeah.
There was something I saw... You see a lot of Glastonbury, but they're all very political, so they're not really novelty.
I liked how uncool a lot of the people at Glastonbury were. That was a nice thing. You know how it was like, you go to like Lost Village or something and it's all a bit like...
It's multi-age.
Like, so you've got like dads just dadding it hard, fedora, cider in hand.
That was my review of it when I came back. It was because it's so vastly different in the age range. There's not like things that are in. It's like you've got men who have been through like 40 different Glastonburys and women.
Yeah.
So, they don't care about fads. They care about the festival.
Exactly. I'm kind of stressed about fads. I don't know if it was a panic. I might have... Basically, there's a Carhartt sale All right, at the Carhartt store.
This is 100% a panic.
Well,
If you start a story where there was a Carhartt sale on, you have 100% panic.
so I'm trying to avoid Carhartt because I think it's overdone. Apart from trousers, I don't really care. Like trousers, I don't care about the brand. It's more about is it
a
well
trouser?
is it well built?
Yeah.
Is it sturdy?
Is it gonna make your butt look
And then
good?
I go into I always check out Carhartt if I'm shopping. I always have a look, see what the 4-on-1
Sure.
is.
It'll be
see what
rude
the kids
not
are
to.
doing. Shoot some hoops, in their kind of main lobby.
You've got such a weird thing about Carhartt.
But then their trousers are always like £110, £120. It's like maybe if I was the Prince of Serbia.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was the
Not if you were the Prince of Slovenia. though.
no,
That's taking
too
it a
much.
step too far.
I meant to say Persia, but Serbia came out. Is that an anagram of Persia, Serbia? Food for
Sounds
thought.
like it could be, but it almost definitely isn't.
Persia.
PER.
There's no B in Persia, and I say that.
P.
There's no B,
B
in Persia.
Persia. And you can say that firsthand.
That's one of. There's no I in
It's not a
team.
euphemism.
There's no B.
There's no B in Serbia.
You can't ever say euphemism.
Euphemism.
I don't think you've ever actually.
Euphemism.
You've never said it right.
There are quite a few
I've
words
never-
I say entirely wrong. If you look at the new podcast clip,
Yeah.
the thing that I find hilarious is what phrase do I say? There's a phrase that the subtitles have been incredibly generous to me with because I just don't say it. I essentially go, that's the one. Yeah, I can't be able to find
small
it.
thumbs, big tricks.
I can't remember. But yeah, no, there's many words that I can't say or say wrong. Euphemism.
Euphemism. Yeah,
That was right.
Euphemism.
Euphemism.
Yeah, it's not a th. Yeah, euphemism.
No, it's spelled TH, so it is a th.
Euphemism
Euphemism.
is a euphemism. Look, I'm
Oh,
not.
is it
I'm
PH?
certainly not a professor.
No, that's enthusiasm, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to be on my high. I'm never confident.
Euphemism.
I can
What do
never.
I say? Euphemism.
You say euphemism.
With a th.
Yeah,
Euphemism.
but you've always had this thing because something that was really thick that you used to do.
Yeah.
Probably as thick as you've ever been.
Yeah.
Is you used to say free. I mean, we talked about this, but you used to say.
No, I didn't.
You said it was 1, 2, 3.
bollocks. That's bollocks.
You said free.
You're full of shit.
And you
I
called
never said
you
free.
called our friend Martha
Martha.
with an F.
Yeah, but that's just a little Sussex twang.
No,
I didn't go free. I'm not mentally
free.
impaired.
1, 2, 3.
I don't have a lisp. No, I didn't.
So it's around that kind of that's where you run into your problems.
But what's the other?
Look,
the
I
other
can't
Sussex
talk.
thing?
I say everything wrong. My syntax is all over the place. My tongue's too big for my mouth, I think.
What's the other big one? What's the other big Sussex kind of accent thing? It's not Brighton. Well, the T's, yeah. But sometimes because it's kind of I find myself often caught in a ravine between two different ways to say a word, and instead of choosing one, I fall into the ravine,
It's true.
and then I end up saying nothing.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. Elle's actually got a list on her phone of words that I often say wrong.
Wow.
I can't remember.
She's very well spoken, you know.
Yeah, I know.
She's looking down on you.
She is. But what does? There was one that and she gets a lot of them from the podcast.
I'd love to hear them.
Oh,
actually.
one of the and I do phrases wrong all the time as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
when
do.
you've been talking on the internet for a lot of hours, there's going to be shit.
You said a ridiculous
In
one
for a
last
penny,
episode.
in for a penny, out for a pound is one I say wrong. So that's the wrong version.
But I like wrong phrases.
Wrong phrases are hilarious.
Yeah.
But then when you're saying it, but then I can imagine the frustration when you're saying it. So you're watching someone saying it so comfortably as part of like a good point they're trying to make on a podcast. That it
In
could
for
be infuriating.
75p, out for 43p.
Well, no, because it's more in. No, but that's wrong. What do you think the phrase is? I
In
know,
for a penny, out for a pound.
but that's wrong. It's in for a penny, in for a pound.
What?
Yeah, because that actually makes sense. In for a penny, out for a pound doesn't make any sense.
Well,
In for a penny,
no,
in
because
for a
it
pound.
makes sense. Because you put a penny in, you get a pound out. Unbelievable.
Yeah, great. You've got money. You make all your fucking returns. So you don't know
That's
why
like subscribing to our Patreon. In for
That
a
is
penny,
in for a
out for
penny,
a
out for a pound.
You pay a penny, and
get a pound.
You get a pound's worth of content.
It's crazy over there. You guys need to check it out. No, think about it. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's like you might as well fucking go for it.
What do you mean? Go for it.
What do you think the phrase means?
If you're spending a penny on it, you might as well spend a
No,
pound.
it means
on
like if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Like dive all in.
if you're spending 5p on straws, get a bag.
You see again, not quite my tempo. Right, okay, yeah. Live life to the full.
5p straws. You can afford more than that. It's very cheap a straw.
You
so
can,
get
yeah.
20
You
20
could
straws.
even-
20 straws. What's that? £2?
Yeah, sure.
So-
You could even extrapolate it to cola bottles.
No, I don't think so.
No, do you think that's too much?
I don't think that carries.
A couple too many.
I don't think that carries, actually.
So you see how in for a penny, out for a pound.
But so the actual thing, in for a penny, out. In
No,
for a penny,
exactly.
in for a penny.
So you were getting it wrong too.
In for a penny, in for a pound would be Putin invading Ukraine.
No.
No?
No, it could be, but it'll be like if Putin's invading Ukraine, he might as well invade Serbia. That's in for a penny, in for a pound.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Well, yeah, it's just like it needs to be another step. It's like if I'm going to dive off the 5 meter board, I might as well do the 10.
Yeah. If I'm going down, if I'm going down the medium pace centre parks flume, I might as well go down the fast.
They're actually quite hard to think of.
Yeah.
But that's a phrase that I do wrong. But that's there.
Andrew's upset with me this week because I ruined all of his white clothes.
Honestly, it's like something out of a sitcom.
it's very Seinfeldy.
It was fucking astonishing. So I have put my white...
You've got your full white suit.
Do you know how
green.
fucking... I put in a whitewash with, honestly, almost all of my whites.
Yeah.
And I was so happy about this wash as well. This is context you don't know. I was really happy because I got up in the morning. There was no... And I was like, I'm going to get these fucking stains out of these white T-shirts I have. So we got some specific stain remover.
Oh God!
Delivered. Put it in. I spent a while dabbing it all on these.
God.
I put in my 5 pristine white T-shirts, dabbing it all in, stain remover, letting them soak for a bit, and then I went.
It's like a kitchen sink
I promise
drama.
you, I turned to Arthur, went, and I was like, I think that's one of the best washes I've ever done.
Oh.
It was a really good wash. I then go out, whatever. We then play badminton or something.
Yeah.
Come back.
Not a care in the world, Andrew.
Not a care in the world.
He's floating.
I'm swatting down shuttlecocks like it's nothing.
Because he knows back home.
Back home, there's a disaster brewing. An absolute fucking carnage brewing. So I go back in, and then there's a little trick to would you spin and drain it so it kind of dries quicker.
Yeah, lovely trick.
Lovely trick.
Great little...
Lovely trick, lovely washing trick. So then I spin and drain it, and then go to take it out, and then I just I take out one of the T-shirts, and there's just a tint of green. I'm like...
Denial immediately? Or...
Denial immediately.
That's
I'm like,
not green.
That's... And I went, there must be the light at which I'm holding it. The light at which I'm holding it at.
Yeah.
And then I hold it up, and I was like, that is that's a green T-shirt. I'm going to make you put a picture of it on here. I'll take a picture of how fucking green they are, and I could do a full green outfit now. I then thought, oh no, it's probably
my favourite colour.
It's just the one. Oh, is that what you wanted to share with me?
Also, the plain lazy T-shirt I got you was lime green.
It was turquoise, which is actually these are all.
It was green.
That's another word I say wrong. That's another word I say wrong. Fucking heck.
That's another word.
There's 3 times now. 3 times I've said words wrong. So they're
turquoise.
Say it.
Turquoise? Sounds
you're
wrong.
right. I say turquoise.
I said turquoise.
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 Turquoise. Turquoise.
Turquoise.
Turquoise.
I think it's more you have to... it's like entering a room and then surveying it. It's like turquoise. You burst in.
But then there's no time to survey it. I think
quoise is surveying it.
Turquoise. Mine's like...
Tur is coming through the door.
My way of saying it is being...
Quoise.
My way of doing it is you're quite suspicious of what's in the room. It's like turquoise. If you quoise something like turquoise.
Turquoise?
Turquoise that. Turquoise that.
Turquoise.
Turquoise that. Turquoise is that.
Anyway, back to the key point. Turquoise or not turquoise?
That is the question.
Yeah.
But that's how you say it. Turquoise.
Turquoise.
Turquoise. How do you say it?
Turquoise.
But do a genuine...
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Yeah, you're right. Turquoise. It's not turquoise.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're all turquoise. Where was
I in the story?
That does sound
weird. Anyway, go on.
Where was I in the story? So I took him out. Yeah. Took him out, looked, I was like, surely it's only one. Don't know why I thought that. Then went back and just took out one more, and I was like, this fucking idiot. And I knew, we live with 4 people. There was no way, I knew him, I went immediately in my head, Horatio, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then I just looked, just had a rummage and just pulled out the greenest jumper I've ever seen. Greenest jumper.
Thank you very much.
It's probably, And then
lovely lime green.
So that's all of my white T-shirts. Yeah. All of my white socks. Thankfully, all of them are replaceable. There wasn't any like vintage things in there. They were all all of the T-shirts were
cheap
from Uniqlo.
Sorry.
You fucking watch your mouth. You fucking dickhead. All of the T-shirts are from Uniqlo. I can replace the socks, which is fine. But so it's more just you've in what happened?
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
And it's not
Because
a huge amount of justification.
One of the stupidest things you've ever done.
So my jumper had been left out in, when everything got moved out of our kitchen outside when there was works here.
Yeah.
So a bag that I'd been missing for 2 months, a
Right.
rucksack, was left out there with my green jumper that I hadn't had for 3 months.
So where was the bag?
It was outside.
Because it was in the kitchen for 2 months.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it was buried in the
let's
kitchen.
not play the victim too much, Mr. Gill.
So it was soaking wet. Everything in there was soaking wet. So the jumper was muddy and wet.
Yeah.
And I'd just done a wash. So I guess I chucked it in there thinking I'll do a wash. But I guess in my head it's sort of like, how when we've got like dirty
But when did you chuck it in? Because
completely forgot about it.
My question is that it wasn't in the washing machine.
It was. What do you mean?
It wasn't in the wash. So it was in the washing machine. Oh, before I put my things in.
You didn't think that I just chucked it in there?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I thought you paused it.
That is crazy. What?
I know. Don't look at me.
What?
Don't look at me.
You can't pause. You can't open it.
You can pause it.
You can't open it mid-wash.
My theory was thus that you.
That would be.
My theory was thus that you had. I know.
Insane.
I know, but I thought if there's one man to do it.
That is crazy.
My theory was that you had a last minute gig that you were going to go to in Leeds and you wanted that specific jumper. So you just chucked it in the wash that was already going.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess I have that in my locker, but that's next level. That is psychotic. I left it in there in the way that, when we sometimes leave shitty tea towels in there, because you might as well wash it. And it was all fucking shitty, so I put it in there. And I guess I didn't think about white's wash, but I just thought if someone else is washing it, it might be.
Well, it's not as, now that's a lot more acceptable.
Yeah.
Than the pause.
I mean, that I can't believe
I
you
thought it
that.
was the pause.
That is fucking
because I just would have seen it in there.
I mean, it's a big jumper, and it was.
It was a big green jumper. Well, that's not as insane then. That's kind of chilled me out a little bit.
I mean, I didn't know you thought that the whole time because that really is.
I was about to fucking.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but just
a white's wash.
I don't know.
I mean, so because you did like a 2-hour wash. Do you normally do quick spins or do you always do?
Depends on the load, buddy.
Oh yeah, God, that is tough.
Yeah, but I did a big 2-hour wash because I wanted it to be. I thought it was one of the best washes ever.
Oh yeah, I don't think that jumper's ever been cleaner. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it was part of the best wash I've ever done.
Yeah, so really, it was my jumper's never looked better.
Yeah, because I put a bit of the old stain remover in the detergent.
Yeah.
So.
God, that's so funny. I just like the things you'd have to go through to do that. It's just the steps.
Well, just pause and put it in.
Well, one, you can't open it, but just the psychotic.
You can after you pause it. Yes, you can. Of course you can.
Well, it has to drain.
It doesn't take that long. If you pause a wash, you can open it within 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. I have.
Paused a wash and opened it?
Yeah. I have. Have you?
I've never done that.
So maybe you should defer to my knowledge.
All right. Well, it doesn't seem to... I don't know. We'll have to settle this in the comments, I guess.
I suppose so.
In the media this week, there's obviously been a couple of controversies. Who do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the BBC, the mystery BBC man, or Jonah Hill?
Let's do the BBC man because there's more meat on that bone. So.
Well, I don't know how much. Like, is it unethical to talk about who we all think it is?
Yeah, probably.
Isn't it? Are we entering into?
Yeah, I think we need to be moderately responsible.
Which is a shame. No, but I think everyone knows now. It's not just an industry secret.
It is, but it's still not confirmed.
Yeah.
So we can't talk about it as if it's.
We definitely should throw in a lot of allegedlys,
which I can't be bothered to do.
No, I mean, I hope it. No, I don't hope it is, but it would be thrilling if it's who I think it is.
Because what I quite like, it's something I've been calling for a while, is the fact that they haven't named him.
Okay.
Because there's been, you remember when there was someone who was like, I can't remember, it was a couple of years ago and we spoke about it on this podcast, where someone got accused of being a paedophile and they just weren't a paedophile. And it's like, that's his career done. Because everyone's going to be like, well, aren't you the nonce?
You can look like, weren't you?
Because it was like 2 years ago. Oh, you're that dickhead, aren't you? He was like,
guy.
No, I'm really not.
Didn't you like fuck dead people or something?
Yeah. Didn't you just, No, but that's not the case. So I like that they're not naming them.
There's something nice about it. Because even if we all know who it is, if it's not been named officially, they'd really have like something to pull back on.
Yes. The only thing is, I think there is, because it's the Sun who hate the BBC.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot on, if they don't name them, one, it's dragging it out, making it more of a story. And two, they might not even have enough evidence. They don't have enough evidence to suggest, to come out and say this definitely happened.
It's quite a crazy, I've never really seen a media thing like it, because it's ebbed and flowed. Yeah, because the lawyer came out and said that the young person
said this is nonsense.
Yeah, but then... So
another person.
And then another person.
And there's 3.
There might be 4. I think I saw a 4th person comes out. I think a lot of people
I haven't seen 4. I mean...
But you've got to feel... Look, I have a lot of respect for the mum in this. I think she's the real star of the show. I like this kind of... the kid's not even complaining about it. And she's just set straight to the sun.
Well, the kid I did hear is a crack cocaine addict.
Yeah, cocaine.
Cocaine.
In respect to the BBC presenters. Cocaine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of ballsy as well. I haven't seen many crack cocaine addicts.
What do you think? It's an old school throwback?
Yeah, I think it's like he's on the wrong side of the pond for that.
Exactly.
I kind of respect it.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't know too much about what the kid's actually feeling because he's addicted to crack.
Are you saying you can't, if you're addicted to crack cocaine, then maybe your judgment is clouded?
I wouldn't go that far.
That is controversial.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'd say they might be otherwise engaged.
But clouded in the way that they don't think they're being abused by a BBC presenter.
Well, if anything, it sounds like the mum's on crack. Because
Yeah,
the lawyer's going like, what the fuck is she talking about?
I just like this gossipy queen who's like, I mean, is there more kind of god tier shit stirring than this mum who's just coming out guns blazing?
Well, is she
hasn't
doing
spoken to the kid because apparently there's been a big rift
because of the crack.
Because of the crack cocaine.
Yeah.
So she's not even speaking to the kid.
Yeah.
But then she decided to, on her own, go and try and fucking sink this BBC presenter.
I would like to speak to the mother. Because I want to know.
Get her on the pod.
We could get her on the pod if possible.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know her motivations because there could be a bit of a salacious motivation of wanting a bit of dollar and fame, but it doesn't feel like it.
Could be there as well.
The other one could be, I've had a rift with my son because he's addicted to crack, and I think a big reason was that because allegedly Hugh Edwards.
No!
Allegedly.
You can't. It's not Hugh. It's not Hugh.
Allegedly Hugh Edwards said, Can my son send him pictures of his, I don't know, for money? Which then directly funded the crack.
Have you seen the
So you could see why she would be annoyed, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I have seen that picture.
Have you seen the picture of Hugh Edwards bum pic?
Well, yeah, you sent it to me.
But
You sent it to me first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I do think the Hugh Edwards bum pic, what I like about it is like, it's sort of the purest nude you can send, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something so pure about it.
About a bum.
Well, it's just like fully dressed.
He's clearly at work as well.
Pull your trousers down, show your bum. There you go. That's me nude. That's a nude for you.
That's my bottom.
That's it. It's just a place.
Do what you will with it. But that is my bottom. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a butt pic, is what it is.
It's the thing is we can... obviously, we can never be sure in the modern climate whether that is you or not. I mean, even that could even be just a Photoshop job.
It could be like Prince Andrew, who got photoshopped so badly.
So badly. So badly. Clear his name. Clear the man's name.
It's so clearly not him.
Yeah. I mean, there's Jeremy Vine, who is my...
He's loving it.
No, he's not.
Oh.
He's actually hating it. He's my favourite BBC presenter. Please watch his TikToks.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
But he's leading the line. He's showing the biggest face.
He is
BBC.
leading the line, so I suppose it's some good PR moves for him, but he doesn't really need any. Everyone knows Jeremy Vine. Everyone's good.
You can't get bigger
Everyone's
than-
good on the Vine.
Yeah.
But no, because everyone keeps saying it's him. So he's like, there's
That
him.
is funny.
I think there's like him. Whose names I've seen are him, maybe Michael McIntyre,
Graham,
Alexander Armstrong,
Gary Lineker,
and Graham Norton.
Yeah.
My first thought was, what's his name? The guy who does Pointless with Alexander Armstrong.
Richard Osman.
Me
too.
Was he?
Yeah, but this is bad. We can't be.
We can't.
We can't be throwing these salacious deets.
No, obviously, we're saying we don't know who it is. This is just a comedy podcast.
But if our nonce
taken
fantasy 11, if we were getting a super team of who would want to be nonces,
Yeah.
Richard Osman up front.
I don't know. I think he'd be a really... He's like... How tall is he?
like 6'8"?
I don't want him being a nonce. There's something really scary about a giant nonce.
You want a little
It's
one.
like the scary, yeah.
You want a tiddly little
one,
nonce.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he seems a bit too like well adjusted and everything. Then it seems like it's just for fun rather than as a genuine.
I can imagine the fact that they haven't named is very stressful as a BBC presenter because it does mean it's the
just like
Spider-Man
you're
meme
yet
of
to-
everyone just being like, any
Yeah.
one of you could be a nonce.
Yeah. Well, they can't. The thing is, they can't because Jeremy Vine went on his TV show and said that, but they've been suspended. The guy's been suspended.
Do you know the plot of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy?
No.
So it's about the British Cold War establishment finding out they have a mole, a Russian mole.
Good.
And they get it down to like 5 people it could be.
Yeah.
And it's all about them
Was it
trying
Jeremy
to work
Vine, Graham Norton?
But
Alexander
imagine
Armstrong?
that as opposed to being a Cold War spy.
Yeah.
It's trying to find there's a nonce in our midst.
Well, that's kind of what it is.
That would be. Imagine that's a thrilling film. You know, you got great. Gary Lineker, Richard Osman,
Trying to bait him out.
trying to work out who's the nonce in our midst.
Well, it's not. The thing is, everyone knows it's not Jeremy Vine because it's
Because he keeps saying it.
no, because he's the
Hiding in plain sight.
The nonce has been suspended. So anyone that's been on BBC TV as a presenter since the news
think
broke,
House of Games went ahead.
since the news broke, definitely isn't the nonce.
Yeah.
House of Games.
Yeah.
House of Games was on.
So Richard Osman in the clear.
But that was
in the clear.
that was pre-recorded. So does that
Yeah, I
mean
think-
a suspension of?
I don't think that's.
It would be so great if it was House of Games because it would be so obvious.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
be
he
like,
would just be on-
today's episode of House of Games. It's not. So it could only be one person. Although there could have been guests that could have been the BBC presenter.
There is a feeling though the mum, she probably got her mitts. She probably didn't probably deal with it as well as she probably could.
Yeah.
You do think with these sort of allegations, it very rarely works out that there's not something going on.
with the BBC presenter.
Yeah, it doesn't. It seems
Don't
like
just make it up. I wouldn't. If I wanted some fame or I wanted to blame someone for my child's crack addiction, I wouldn't just be like a BBC. Hugh Edwards asked him for pics of his dick for money.
Yeah.
I think you feel like there's got to be some evidence to make you get there.
Yeah.
It can't just to kind of bring that up out of nowhere is almost far too creative.
Well, what I like about the mum is that we often talk about like, I don't know, rampant dad energy or just like, you know, men gone wild. It's like I do like that we've got a crazy, you know, this is a rampant mum.
Is she crazy? No, but I don't. Is she crazy?
A girl gone wild.
It doesn't
like,
sound like she's crazy though.
You don't think so?
Well, if you're saying that 4 other people have come forward,
It's true.
We can't say she's crazy at this point. It could be.
But not liaising with the kid.
Well, the kid sounds like he's off on crack.
Oh, okay.
You liaise with a man on crack.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not that I've tried. It
There's
could be easier than it seems. Crack.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, they've never kept us on tenterhooks so long. Surely they're
Yeah.
going to have to reveal it. But then if there's no proof, then they're never going to reveal it, are they?
No, I guess so. But I think it will get to a point where someone, and I hope someone's doing this, is keeping tabs of every BBC presenter that's making an appearance. And it'll get, after like 2 weeks, we can conclusively say this person has not been on for 2 weeks. Everyone else has, done their usual stuff.
Yeah.
What if it's someone like the presenter of Country File?
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck.
My mum does.
Okay,
She
your
has-
mum gives a fuck.
He's
if
an autistic icon. He
What about the woman who does it?
I don't give a fuck about her.
Great. So
Couldn't care.
what if it's someone who doesn't? Thank you for that. What if it's someone we don't give a fuck about whatsoever after all this billing?
It would be a bit like
If Hugh comes and presents the news tonight, that would be the biggest curveball.
Yeah.
Because everyone would suddenly.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is it?
I think
Which
we
we
should
still
do
don't
it
know.
like,
Allegedly.
you know how they do like BBC Sports Personality of the Year, where there's sort of nominees.
Yeah.
I think we
I
should-
think more do it like the traitors.
Okay. Okay.
Except for there's one
and
who's a nonce.
then you have to try and guess it, and
Yeah,
everyone's saying,
and
"I'm
every-
not the nonce. I'm not the nonce."
And every night.
What?
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to leave it
Well,
at that.
every night he molests children.
Yeah.
So the stakes have never been higher.
But, yeah, exactly. But then, but they have to leave. Maybe just molest the presenters. That's how they go. In the traitors, you kill them
Oh, I guess so.
because you've got to whistle it down
But we need higher stakes.
until it's just like Hugh and Alexander Armstrong. But I think the highest stakes is that we can't know who it is with them going into the show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that kind of kills the whole thing.
So allegedly, he was paying £35,000 a year for nudes.
Not happy with that.
That's a lot. That's a wage. That's a solid wage in this country.
I'd 100% send nudes to Hugh Edwards.
Would
for
you send
35 grand a year? 100%.
Well, it's just that's your full-time job.
100%. Oh, well, it seems to have got the other guy who did it addicted to crack, which is a problem. So it is. I'm gonna end up spending it on crack, seemingly. But if this, I'd 100% send Hugh Edwards nudes.
But for 35,000 a year, that's not the occasional nude.
It's more than me. What I get at my job.
That's, you're waking up early to send nudes to Hugh Edwards. You're clocking in. You've got, it's a job. It's a £35,000 a year.
It depends how many. No, it depends how many nudes a week he's requiring.
I think it's going to be like, look, you can quit
Allegedly,
your job,
Hugh
but
Edwards.
I want you to put in the same kind of hours you're putting in at your last job, but to sending me nudes. That's what I think it is.
8 hours a day.
8 hours a day.
Shit. Every day.
Getting up. Well, 5 days a week.
5 days
you
a
get a
week, you get the
weekend.
weekend
Bank holidays, you get off.
Nudes.
Yeah, your bank holidays off. You
Are
can
they
take
entirely naked, or does he
How
want
much
me?
holiday do you have a year at the moment?
30.
30 days. Well, you get 30 days of holiday.
But do I have to put that through as a request?
Yeah, you have to ask you.
Hugh, can I take this week off? I want to go to the Amalfi Coast and not send you pictures of my butt.
Sorry, it's a bit too late notice. I think you need to ask this earlier.
Hugh, I've already booked the tickets.
Sorry,
I please?
we can't
Can't
make it
I
work.
just take loads and then send them to you?
If you can find someone on Slack who's ready to give up their dates, then maybe I'll think about it. There's other people.
How many other people are
Maybe
involved?
like 20, 30 people. It's like a startup.
Yeah. I'd 100% join it. Would you not join it? For 35k, without a doubt, I'd send nudes to...
All right, so obviously we're being absurd. I wouldn't do 8 hours a day, obviously.
Yeah.
But 35k, yeah, I'm sending nudes.
Yeah. It's a bit like, as long as it's... one every day, I'm going to be like... Now, one a week, which seems reasonable. 2 a week?
Flash photography of your bumhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that must come with a bit of extra.
Wonga.
You have to sweeten the deal for those.
Well, I'd be asking... I don't know. I'd be asking for a raise at that
But then
point.
I guess it's like unidentifiable. I guess the really tough ones would be self-timer, flash photography set up here. You're like this, bare arsehole, and your face is in it. That's the brutal combo, isn't it? Because you get...
But the thing
if
is...
it's just your arsehole, then you can be like, that's not me. But if it's your face like that...
There's no jeopardy because Hugh Edwards is paying me for that picture. There is no way that Hugh Edwards is going to leak that.
Yes, but look what's going to happen now. Look at that Hugh
The
Edwards.
nudes aren't going to come out. What do you mean? The nudes aren't coming
Well, think
out.
about all the phone hacking. Think about...
And you think a journalist is going to hack into the phone to release the nudes of the teenager? You think that's what's going to happen?
Are you telling me if you've sent, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of nudes...
To Hugh Edwards?
There's no chance
Allegedly.
that they're getting... Sounds like you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, allegedly. I did not send those nudes. Yeah.
Do you think
What
there's
did
not...
if I came out as the fifth guy? I was like, yeah, I'd do it. I've been doing it for a year.
Do you think there's not a...
Shred in hell that those underage images are going to come out. Phone hacking.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
The internet is just a wild place. The nudes get leaked all the time.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
what do you
even
mean
like
from
it's not
Hugh-
even like a paper. I think just like think about when Jennifer
but it's not
Lawrence's
gonna-
nudes got hacked by some
Yeah.
pervy
But
creeps.
it's not going to be leaked in the way that Hugh, like this whole story has gone national. Someone would have to, the way that would come back to me, it might go on the dark web somewhere.
No, because you're thinking about this. I'm just thinking about this as you.
Yeah.
I guess you are making 35k a year, which is a decent salary. It's not great, it's just like an average in this country, sort of 35k.
Well, I think I'd do it alongside my job. I'm not going to quit my job.
Yeah, I get that.
I'd still have my other streams of revenue, so I'd actually be doing pretty
So
well.
one of your income streams.
Yeah.
It'd be your main source of income. It'd be
It would
be your big...
It would. I think it'll be most people's main source of income.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if you wanted to go into any other sphere, having thousands of nudes sent to Hugh Edwards.
That's okay.
Do you think so? Like,
Yeah.
do you not think that
you're
cordons
suggesting
you
that we
off?
can't send any, like, I know thousands.
No, we could send nudes. Thousands of nudes to Hugh Edwards over 5
But
years.
why does Hugh Edwards make a difference?
Good bit public figure.
I know,
big
but there's
story.
no one is going to... Yeah, the big story means that his phone might get hacked for people to find it. No, the Sun is going to be like, revealed, teenage nudes that were sent. And then it's just a spread.
Yeah, but you're thinking old media. Who gives a fuck about the Sun? This is not the Sun. This is like you then go into any sort of
and then how's that going to
esteemed
get...
job, and it's like, wait, are you the guy who has the flash photography picture of his arsehole on his face that sent it to Hugh Edwards?
No, but how's he's not going to see that? The
just will
name
get
is
passed
protected.
around.
The name is protected. Do you know that, like, it's not going to come out what the name is of this underage person. Of course, it's not.
Yeah, but the face is in the nudes.
Look, you're not going to see him. You're just not going to see him.
Where
would they go?
naive.
Where would they go?
I think a man who.
Where would they go?
They just go on some site and then they get shared, and then as soon as they're out on the internet once, they're not getting shared on. Your nan's not sharing them on Facebook.
I think you think there's far too much appetite for these underage teenage news that was sent to.
I think as a man who deals with sex traffickers on the daily, I think you should know how fucked up the internet's tastes are, and they might even be after your asshole pics.
No, that's not. No, I think I should know exactly why they would. Yeah, they just wouldn't get leaked in that way. Because for someone, I guess no, but you've got the same like. What do you think? Someone's going to hack onto Hugh's phone, which isn't simple, by the way. Hack onto Hugh's phone and then where they're going to post him? Because the only way they wouldn't get taken down for nudity would be porn websites.
I guess what I'm thinking, because with the victims in question, they're not public figures at all.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no real appetite for those nudes. I'm saying that if you became a public figure, then there might be an appetite for your.
But I wouldn't have been named.
Years
I wouldn't have been named as an individual because if I'm a victim, they're not going to name me.
Yeah.
So I then become a public figure. They have no idea that I was the man sending all those news to
Well,
Hugh
you
Edwards.
have come out because you're now going to lose your main source of income. So you're actually protesting your mother.
Well, you're adding a lot of
your mum,
twists to the
Sally
tale.
has tried to end your biggest source of income.
But
Sally's message to Sam.
Am I addicted to crack or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got a bit of that going
So
on.
what public figure do I eventually become?
It's true.
So I clean my acts up.
No,
well, I could
that's
do
what
a
I'm
Russell
saying.
Brand.
I'm just saying that it's like that's no longer an option.
What is no longer an option?
Being a public figure. That's what.
Well, so then there's no interest in my nudes. What are you talking about?
That's what I mean. It's but if you did want to be a public figure,
there is no downside to being salaried to sending nudes, underage teen nudies to Hugh Edwards. There's no downside.
You don't think the crack cocaine, the inevitable addiction to crack cocaine is a downside, or is that just?
I'm now saying, look, I'm not. We'll have to see if the others are addicted to crack. Whether it's just a unique fucking symptom of sending news to Hugh Edwards that you become addicted to crack.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay.
He's not the only. Yes. He's not the only.
Allegedly to all of that.
All of that.
All
Let's
of that was
go
allegedly.
But yeah, he's not the only person in deep water this week. Jonah Hill has got into a lot of trouble. And I think that one's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, it is an interesting one.
What do you think? So, shall I read out the message?
Yeah. Well, there's a few, isn't there? But
is there? There's the big one.
There's loads.
Jonah Hill
There's a whole
text.
thread of them.
So this is there's a lot going on here. So Jonah Hill has got into, and I don't know how big, I'm still trying to assess how big this story is. Like people...
Yeah.
Is this a cancellation? Doesn't feel like a cancellation.
No, it's not a cancellation.
Jonah.
It's not. Everyone's just a bit like... Oh.
So this is Jonah laying down his former boundaries to his girlfriend at the time, who's a Australian surf model, I think. Plain and simple. And he's got the colon. And then he goes, if you need, and then colon again. So he's double colon.
Wow.
Which is,
and that means
is formatting.
You know a man's serious with a double colon.
Double colon. Plain and simple, colon.
Yeah.
If you need, colon. Surfing with men. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. To model. To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit. To post sexual pictures. Friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past. Beyond getting a lunch or coffee, something respectful. I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnerships. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Okay? So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, I think, because it is an interesting one. Because I definitely don't think it's a black and white,
No, it's not. It's not black and white. It's
green
it's
and
like
orange.
saying, you can use the phrase, these are my boundaries, to justify anything.
It's true.
And that would just be, insane.
Yeah.
One of my boundaries is you have, like, if you don't murder a kid every day, then...
That's just my boundaries.
That's just my boundaries.
Yeah.
So the only thing about that is it's like, you can just break up with him.
Yeah.
So it's like, what he's asking is pathetic.
Pathetic, insane, insecure,
embarrassing,
neurotic,
insecure.
all of that. But I don't think it's more than that, because he has said, like, he has opened the door, being like, this is just what I need.
Yeah.
And you can leave if you don't want that.
Yeah, but
which is an interesting thing. And also, it's more like, I think it's so fucked up, and it's become so normalised, the way that we're allowed to treat like celebrities' private lives.
Yeah.
I think sharing a text of a recently broken up with ex like that is so unethical.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so fun. We don't know what the conversation was like. We don't know what the past relationship they had. Also, having no space to fuck up over text when you're emotionally in like a relationship that's breaking down. Think about the text that you've sent when a relationship's breaking down, and then them getting shared by everyone and then picked apart.
Yeah.
How fucked up that you said that. Yeah, we all say fucked up shit when a relationship's breaking down.
Yeah.
And now it's just being... Also, he's Jonah Hill. He's going to be a weirdo, you know, and that's partly the life he's lived. He's been a celebrity for so long. We're constantly shocked when these celebrities turn out to be insecure, neurotic weirdos. It's like, there's nothing here that surprises me that much.
No, yeah. I mean, it does surprise me. It surprises me, like, the level of... Because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
The thing I find is embarrassing for him, because it's so...
Yeah.
And it is controlling. 100% is controlling.
Yeah.
Though the idea that it's, the idea that she can't have male friends.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing for him, but if it's like, the thing is, because if it was like, with me, you have to do this and that's it. The way he phrases it does give her an out, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like, that is just me. That's what I want. And that's a bit like, it's kind of bullshit that he's just accepting that that's what he has to do. Like, that's just who he is. He should work on that, because he should realise that's... Your boundary is actually completely affecting another person's freedom like that.
And
which is unacceptable in a relationship. But the fact is, she can break up with him.
Yeah.
But that's always the case.
But I do think it's interesting within the context of that film he released about him speaking to his therapist.
Yeah. But that's why I think it's a bit gross, because he's a bit like, therapy boy. But it's like try and get better. That's therapy speak justifying controlling behaviour at the same time.
But it also is like it's interesting that he seems to be like the most therapized person
in the world that ever has been,
and then he's still so fucked up.
But he's using, because I think there's a hint of selfishness in that, and there can be when you've got lots of mental problems or whatever. There's I need to protect myself. This is my thing. I need to do that. You kind of forget that you're being nuts to someone else at times.
And the American culture of therapy, where it's like everyone should do it, even if you don't necessarily have problems to work through. It's almost like just a part of being a person. If you can afford it, you should have a therapist, which in many ways you could see the ways that therapy, though it's a good thing, if you just think therapy is always a good thing, and talking about myself, working through my problems with a professional, that it can spill over into narcissism, into basically justifying your own thoughts as being like, well, I'm going to therapy all the time. I've made a documentary about how amazing my therapist is.
Therefore, my
thoughts are right.
Yeah. And
which is interesting.
It's not this quest for improvement. It's almost like I've done so much of the quest for improvement that I must be nearly there.
Yeah.
So therefore, you start to validate these feelings, and it should, in reality, he should be feeling. I mean, it's hard to, like, his mind clearly doesn't work like this. So it's hard to say to someone whose mind clearly doesn't work like this that it should. But he should have the feeling of extreme jealousy when his girlfriend posts a bikini picture. She's a surfer, by the way. A bikini picture.
Yeah, how did you find her? How did he stumble across her?
But also just like, that's her fucking livelihood. Of course, there's going to be scantily clad pics. Don't date a surfer.
Yeah, you were fat and told cum jokes. That's how.
That's how it goes. That's how the world works.
That's my boundary.
We've all got our shtick.
we all got our bits.
Yeah, but it's and then the male friends thing. He should have those feelings and go, "What? That's coming from somewhere within me. I should work on that."
Yeah.
But that's the therapy thing to do. That's the healthy thing to do. Instead, he's gone, "No, I know myself." And this is the bottom line for me, that I'm never going to be able to get better at this. And that's just who I am. You need to change. When in fact, he should be going, something's going wrong with me. It sounds like bad therapy advice almost.
Yeah, which really throws that really indulgent documentary, black and white.
It's just like,
really.
I reckon that's probably because it's so unfair for her to post it. That's probably why she did. Because she seemed stuck. So she's like, for fuck's sake, just like, look at this.
If he opened, so obviously we've discussed why saying these are my boundaries can be problematic.
Yeah.
If he opened it with, I'm a pathetic little stinky pig boy.
So much better.
Because that, in a way, tops it.
That's like...
And there's a more self-awareness there, as opposed to being...
have to include stinky pig.
Yeah, like I'm a grotty little
pathetic
pig.
You need a grotty, stinky...
I'm like a stinky little hog man.
Muddy little camel.
Because, like, respect my boundaries, that's looking down on you, and that's saying you need to do these things because basically I'm better than you. But
I don't think it says that.
Well, these respect my boundaries. It has a superiority there in a way. It's got the therapy speak, but I'm a grotty little pig boy.
He was
that sets it up differently.
Yeah,
I can't deal with you and my friends because I'm just
a disgusting little hog man. So these are my boundaries because of that. Because in fairness, and also there was hints of bad language in it because he was saying like if you feel the need to post bikini pics or whatever, if you feel the need to have close relationships with friends. That's suggesting it's just like not a normal thing to do. It's not like having a need to have no one has like a need to have male friends. They just have them.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's just a normal part of life.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a stank of if you need that. But then I want to go back to your original point of like who hasn't sent a bit of a dickhead text at some point when you're going through a tough emotional breakup.
And if you take it without context.
And
think about how long those conversations are when you're messaging for like 3 hours.
Give the guy a bit of a break at the same time. It's funny because of all those things, but also give him a break at the same time.
It's a tough one. So I think our advice would be if those are your boundaries, don't say at the end, respect my boundaries. Say at the beginning I'm a stinky hog boy.
Stinky hog. I'm a muddy, stinky hog boy. Look at me, moo.
And then you do like oinks after every point. You remind them that you're a stinky hog boy.
I don't know. Just these are my general boundaries because I just can't. If you feel the need to have to kind of post scantily clad pics on Instagram, I understand that might be the case for you. But for me, I can't really continue with that relationship going as it's going like that because it just doesn't make me feel great.
Yeah,
and then sign off, stinky pig boy. Yeah. XX. I think top and tail it.
And then if they if they respond to it badly, you can keep doing that thing. You know, when you reply to your own text, in a chat
with oink.
With a arrow pointing up. I'm a stinky hog boy. You just keep referring back.
Oh, so you said that's a good tactic. So you send that as a solitary text. Yeah. So you have the So you reply with arrows.
So she's going to be saying a lot of stuff, saying it's my livelihood.
Like, I'm listening, but just remember, oink oink oink, oink 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 oink. Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe you do that. I'm a stinky little hog boy, and then at the bottom you tie it off with oink oink oink. So then you've got the ability to reply and go and point upwards to both the oink 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 and the I'm a stinky little pig boy.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Jonah Hill should have done. Yeah. And if anyone's going through similar problems, that's what you should do. And that's generally our take on it.
Yeah. But I guess the psychology of Jonah Hill, if you look at his career, he is in like a interesting position because he burst onto the scene.
He did burst pretty hard onto the scene. It was one of the most astonishing bursts onto the scene I've ever seen. I was like, can a man? I didn't think a man could burst on the scene as Jonah Hill did.
So it was the big fat guy in Superbad, fat comedy actor. It looked like he was built to be basically a Rob Schneider his whole career. He was kind of like the comedy. That's how he set up. And then he pivoted
Kevin James
out of fatness into serious acting. He sort of... Well,
he was still fat.
He used his fatness...
Moneyball.
Yeah, Moneyball, Wolf of Wall Street. So he got those Oscar
Wall Street,
noms.
he was slimming down.
Yeah.
But he still had some.
And then he directed films. So it was like he had this thing from like massive comedy actor and then slowly was kind of getting skinnier and more serious as he kind of went into art house film director.
He did get skinnier and more serious, yeah.
So, and I guess that is quite like on your psyche, I guess that does leave a lot of mental scars going from like, come all over me.
Well, have you seen all those? Because he's often been, I think the biggest change is he's often been the victim in his portrayal of public life, because there's loads of those videos with like presenters being kind of rude to it. So they're constantly asking him questions about like his weight and there's one that is a bit, it does make me laugh. It is so fucking rude when you think about it that you just didn't really point out. But within that compilation of interviews being rude to him, I think it was Kimmel. He went on and Kimmel gave him a hug. He was like, "Oh, you smell so good. I didn't expect you to smell so good." And Jonah Hill's a bit like, "What? Why? What the fuck?" I think his words are, I'm going to take that. I'm going to try and not take that as a dig right now, which is like so fair. I was like, "What do you mean you don't think I'd smell good physically?"
Do you think?
He was presented, and that's it's fair because he did get that's any fat actor is going to go through that kind of stuff, but that's also the biz
factor.
That's a factor in the actor. It's a factor in the fat actor. So then he's always been the victim and people have found it, sweet Jonah Hill, and then he makes this Stutz or whatever it's called, the therapy thing, and now suddenly He's the perpetrator.
Do you think if he was in a relationship with Hugh Edwards, he would be drawing some boundaries?
Finally.
He would be drawing some boundaries as
about
like,
the quantity of nudes he could send a day.
The butt pics, it'd be like, you know, if you feel the need, well, Hugh Edwards butt pics, if you feel the need to send photos of your butt
to teenagers,
that is
that's on you. I don't know. I've been to a lot of therapy, and I've been able to work out what I'm comfortable with. And after some thought, I think if you need to send nude butt pics to over 5 teenagers, allegedly, for money, then I think that's something I can't really be part of.
Yeah.
And it's good to have boundaries.
It is good to have boundaries.
I think
boundaries are very important.
There's the line, isn't there? Not allowing. There's a one end of the spectrum. It's not allowing your girlfriend to have male friends, and on the other end of the spectrum, it's not allowing Hugh Edwards to pay money for solicited nude pics from teenagers.
Yeah.
So there's
Do you think the answer's in the middle?
I think the answer might be in the middle. I think there's a little circle of things that are acceptable there.
Because boundaries are important. Do you know who has incredible discipline? Like Leonardo DiCaprio, incredible discipline to boundaries.
Yeah.
Because his boundary is 25 years, you know, and he's committed to that.
Yeah.
He's clearly been in therapy and he's realised what he needs.
That's his boundary, yeah. It's a day over. It's like, I'm sorry.
That's my boundaries.
And it is tough because it does go into a slightly deeper, almost, what's like, how much can you put on other people? It's good to have boundaries.
Yeah, it's a good question.
But like how is that? Is it fair? Because as long as I guess, because you're always giving someone the out.
Yeah.
The ability to get out of that if they're not happy with it. But then there's some way like that's you can't do that. But then they can. Well, if that's what you want, that's what you want.
And I guess if you're like Leonardo DiCaprio or Jonah Hill, you are a A-list celebrity, so you have so many options. You clearly have the power dynamics are off because of how powerful and successful you are. You can basically have technically kind of anyone you want in so you can have those boundaries and then is that right or wrong? Because
no, but that's just like regardless of that, it's just whether that's because if it's not overt controlling behavior, so you're like you have to do this, but like we're staying together kind of thing. Because Jonah very clearly says if that's not cool with you, then that's fine, we can break up kind of thing. But so the what he's asking is obviously unfair, and what he's asking is controlling. But how he's presenting it isn't, because he's saying you don't have to do that. If you want to do that, that's okay. Yeah. He doesn't say that's okay. He's a bit like it makes you a slut and fuck you. He quietly says that. But he's like then we can not be together.
Yeah.
But then that's in her position. It's a bit like, well, I like you, but I don't want to be with you. I get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be able to have male friends and also be with you.
Yeah.
But then I just break up with him. Someone said that to me, I would just be like, well, great, see ya.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Do you think we have time for your gripe? Is it before we go? Or is it a long gripe?
Yeah, we do.
We'll end on a gripe.
What the fuck was it? I'm going to have to remember. It was some fucking...
We'll play us out with a gripe.
It's some fucking nonsense. Now, you're not going to understand this. And I think this might have an audience of maybe 5% of people.
Okay.
But has anyone seen those joke tennis matches that happen?
Yeah, I see them.
You've seen them?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Well, the old guys.
Yeah.
The old guys.
Well, the old guys, everyone's mic'd up. What's going on? What's going on? What is it? Is it a tennis match? Is it a performance art piece? Is it a play? Is it stand-up comedy? Is it a sketch? Where does it happen?
Yeah.
I watch, not that much tennis at all, actually. I watch Wimbledon every year. But I saw them do it at Wimbledon. And I'm like, when is this occurring?
Did you see it live or was it just clips?
No, clips of it. I never see it live. I don't watch enough tennis to see it live.
Yeah.
But where does this happen? It's at big tournaments, it's at small tournaments, it's that one man. They get different tennis players.
He's the star of the show.
He's the star of the show. He seems to be the funniest man on the planet. Where did this man come from? Is he a tennis player? Is he an ex-tennis player? Is he a comedian? Is he an actor?
Is he like a
Why
clown?
is the mic so large?
He's like a clown?
Have they not gone through the 21st century audio equipment change? Revolution?
Does it count to rankings?
No, it doesn't count to rankings.
World Tour?
It's not on the ATP. Well, but it happens seemingly at every event. And I see so many clips. I'm so glad you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen
exact same thing.
I've seen so many clips of it. And I'm seeing more and more because I watched them. I watched them for so long being like, where does this happen? Who does this? There's an audience.
Also,
there's a crowd.
The quality of tennis is unbelievable.
Well, he seems to be the best tennis player in the world. He seems to be able to do every single trick shot that there has ever been, whilst like making jokes and like juggling, and they're just like loosely conversing with Serena Williams and some of the most famous people on the planet. And then my question is where and when mostly. What I understand. Is it my guess is like a warm up for the start of a day's tournament. Sure. It's like a stand up act before Have I Got News for You.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah. But you're warming them up to laugh at the tennis?
I don't know. You don't need to warm the crowd up. You're about to see sport. Where does this happen? Does it happen at the events? It can't be its own event. If it's its own event,
that's crazy.
If people are paying tickets to watch comedy tennis with Old Man X,
who is undeniably
charismatic,
best tennis player who's ever lived, funniest man in
the world. He's all of those things. So I understand the appeal. I just don't understand how they're framing this appeal.
Yeah.
Or where and when.
Yeah.
I just need to know where and when. And I've only seen it via clips. I have no idea what that old man's name is. I don't know where to begin to search for the where and when.
So what I vibed from him was that he must have been a professional tennis player to have those lockers in his locker, and then
but he could have been like football players have like skill players,
like a freestyler.
He could be a tennis freestyler,
like the Harlem Globetrotters.
But he's too old for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So he must have just been a very funny tennis player who was always loved on the circuit, and then he just turned it into.
But then what's the pitch? What's the pitch? Imagine he started there. He's like, right. Let's say it is before every tournament. That's the best guess. We still don't know. It could be something else entirely.
Yeah.
He goes to, I don't know, the ATP president says, "Hi, I've just retired. What I think we need is a game of tennis before the games of tennis." Yeah. But this isn't just a normal game of tennis. Yeah. It's a funny game of tennis. I'll be mic'd up with the biggest mic you've ever seen in your life. I'll get different guests on every time we'll play a doubles match, but we won't really play points. It doesn't seem that we're playing points. We'll just be rallying whilst doing different trick shots. A lot of it will involve me impressing the audience because of my age, but I'm still able to like hit it through the legs.
I'm still the greatest tennis player who's ever lived.
That's the thing we're going to madly sell it on. I have the most impressive tennis skills on the planet. Even though I'm mic'd up with the biggest microphone in the world, making jokes, and 79 years old. So what we'll do, we'll then bring up different tennis players and different celebrities. We'll have is it an interview? Maybe. Is it a tennis game? I don't know. Is it a sketch? Partially.
Do they get like pro tennis players on the matches sometimes?
Yes, most of the time.
So is it sort of like Graham Norton show?
But for tennis, it's not an interview. It's not enough conversation for an interview.
It'd be great if it was
It's not enough tennis for a tennis match.
It was like the Dick Cavett show or like the Charlie Rose, hard-hitting questions. He's doing
Israel Palestine. Fault. But I don't. Right. I think that's the core of the gripe is it's not a tennis match.
No.
It's not an interview, and it's not stand-up comedy.
It's all
of them. Or a skill shot expo.
Yeah.
It's got
a bit of an expo.
It's got a tiny amount of each.
Yeah.
But it doesn't know what it is.
The laughter is so rich sounding.
It seems to be
Do you know what I mean?
It seems that the audience are having the best time that they've ever had.
I mean rich as in it's like you rarely hear wealthy people laugh that much. There's just en masse. You might hear like at cocktail parties there might be like a little titter, but like a crowd of rich people. It's a weird rich comedy.
It's a laugh fueled by pheasant and port. It's very. Well, clearly that's what the upper class kind of makes sense. Well, the upper class fucking love. It's the only thing that makes them laugh is a mix between a tennis match, an interview, stand-up comedy, and a skill shot expo with an elderly man flapping about. It's astonishing, and I hate it.
You don't like it?
I hate it because I don't understand it.
But you watch all the clips all the way through?
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I watch the clips because I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Who is that man?
Yeah.
I know a reasonable amount of tennis, not that much. So if he could be I don't think he was a great. He definitely wasn't a great.
No.
Because I would recognise the name if he was a great. But he was probably something.
Yeah.
I don't know that much.
But that's what Djokovic is going to become when he retires.
I think that's more of a Nadal thing. But my word, the main gripe is that I don't know where and I don't know when.
But there's a lot of silly
and when.
tennis. Like Nadal, Federer, Murray, and Djokovic. They'll have silly games together. You've seen those?
No, is that for something?
No,
Is that for like Top Golf?
No, it's not Top Golf.
It's not Top Golf.
It will be during a tournament. It seems like we're all such good friends. Would it be amazing to? It's just like I just see clips of them fucking around sometimes, and they're laughing when they're hitting shots. They're just like playing doubles with each other. Big crowd.
That will be that's got to be.
You not seen those?
That's got to be for some kind. No, but I think the old man's involved. Maybe not.
he's behind the scenes.
The old man. I'm saying even though he's not on the court, he's involved. This is a syndicate, and I haven't seen this before until maybe
this
last.
goes right to the top.
I think it does, and the old man is the top. I think he's secretly running all of fucking global tennis, but I don't think it hasn't been. It hasn't been. I reckon that's been around for 7 years. It's not been that long that this old man entertainment has occurred, and that is quite recent. And I don't know what's going on with it. If anyone knows, comment. But mainly focus on where and when. The what is kind of clear. The who is clear. Maybe how.
But the where.
The where and the when. Don't get it.
Thank you very much for listening. All my Edinburgh Fringe show tickets are on sale now. Link in bio. And join the Patreon. We'll see you next week. Bye.